Hello Leo, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and I know it's your birthday month, so I'm going to say happy birthday to you. Today I'm going to be doing your grand occult reading, and you know that I usually do these on special occasions when like the signs change, right? So if you're new to my channel, what I like to do is I like to pull one major arcana, pull 3 of the Revelations Tarot, and instead of pulling from these decks over here, I'm going to be using this deck right here. I believe it's called the Golden Tarot, and the Golden Tarot is based off of more Italian artwork from like the 1500s where tarot originated. So has more biblical, Roman, and Greek mythology behind it. So what is going on for Leo during this time period? What do we need to know? So let me get you one major arcana. We have the moon. So some sort of illusion right here. You can't see through the veil. But sometimes the moon is very important to you, Leo. Sometimes you don't want people to know who you actually are. Maybe you're hiding something behind the moonlight. Maybe you're hiding your work, who you actually are. Maybe you're hiding behind the mask. Remember, Leos do tend to wear a lot of different faces around different people. Such as, like, when you celebrate your birthday, you generally don't want to celebrate your birthday with your friends and your family. You want to celebrate your birthday with your friends, and then with your family, and then have a birthday by yourself, because mixing all these different people who know very different versions of you can be kind of like catastrophic. So what's going on for Leo? What do we need to know? Or maybe you're just finally revealing the mask and saying, oh, this is who I am, or this is what it is. But some sort of mystery right here. What's going on for Leo? What do we need to know? So 3 cards from the Revelations Tarot. What's being hidden? So we have the 2 of Pentacles, we have the 4 of Pentacles, and we have the moon. Wow. So this is very interesting for you, Leo. So the 2 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, and the moon. Something is being balanced out. You don't have to give to this situation. A situation is just being balanced out. You don't understand why it is being balanced out because of this moon energy. It represents confusion, mystery, occult, witchcraft right here. Can also represent insanity. But it can also be you just being in the dark about situations within your life. You want a situation to change. You want a situation to balance out. You don't want to have to provide any, like, work for this situation to work out for you. It's kind of like, say, for example, someone wants to throw you a birthday party. A surprise birthday party. You want a birthday party, and then it shows up. It's in the dark, right? It's like a surprise for you. It balances out the situation. You get to have your birthday, but you don't have to spend money on doing your birthday, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing for you right here, is that you don't have to put in any effort or in any financial resources into this situation. It balances out for you. But why is the double moon here? Let's get into this deck right here. This deck is very hard to shuffle, so I'm just going to shuffle it once to show you that I'm shuffling the cards, and then I'm just going to pull from the top. So let me get you a couple more shuffles. All right. So let's clarify this situation. 2 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles. What's going on over here? We have the Death card in reverse. So these cards are in reverse. I don't usually like reading reverse with this deck. So Death in reverse. So something that you thought was coming to an end is actually not ending. Something that you thought was going to be over is actually not over. We have the 8 of Pentacles. So some sort of work that you have not been involved in for a while is actually not complete right here. You're actually going to have to still put in some sort of effort into this situation, or you still are putting effort into this situation. But you don't want to do this. So you know how I said how you don't want to put in effort? I kind of feel like you're going to have to, because the 8 of Pentacles is the card of Virgo, which means you're building something. Something you thought that was over and completed, it's not actually done. But you're looking at this situation now with this 4 of Pentacles saying, not really wanting to put in any more effort into that. You have the King of Swords with the Devil. You have to provide more information to something that's chaining you down. Six of Wands. So there's a victory right here. So what I'm seeing with the King of Swords, this represents that, higher intellectual knowledge. Higher intellectual knowledge about the devil gives you some sort of victory. So I kind of feel like you're going to have to put in some sort of work, some sort of more in-depth information into what you're doing right here. However, you don't want to do that because you're holding on to something. However, if you provide more clarity and more clarification to a subject matter at hand, it actually gives you a victory in the long run. This could be something as simple as you wrote an essay and it's very vague, right? And it just kind of hits all these different things. However, if you were to go back and look at this essay and provide more information for it, people would kind of view it as like, a genius moment for you. If you actually explained your essay, if you did more work into this, you're saying, I'm done with this, I don't want to write anymore. However, if you put more information, higher knowledge into this and then explain it, you have a victory. So double clarification of the moon. People are confused. That's what this is. Okay. So you have some sort of work right here with this Eight of Pentacles. And people are very confused as to what it means, what you are doing, why it's happening. It's kind of like, you create a piece of art and it means something to you and you give a very brief explanation as to what it means because you think everyone is going to just automatically know. However, most people are not going to look at art and be able to understand what it means behind it. They want to know your thought process and why you use certain, paints or materials or whatever to create this project. What was your thought process behind this? You are now revealing this to give yourself victory because it sheds the illumination on double clarification of the moon because people don't know what the fuck is going on for you, Leo. Yeah, they're like, it's pretty. It's the Four of Swords. They're asleep to it. They're like, yeah, it's nice. It's something that is just like moonlight energy. You can sleep underneath the moonlight. They feel relaxed and comfortable. Maybe it's supposed to evoke some sort of emotion behind them. The Two of Swords, they can't see what it is. Yeah, because they don't have the knowledge to understand what this is. Okay? So it's kind of like you're being very confusing right here, Leo, in the month of August. You're not saying what you mean to say because you think that the situation is done. You're like, I don't care. Like, that's what it is. And I'm not going to want to explain any more of this situation to you because, like, you should know it. However, I don't really feel like people understand this. They're in the dark about whatever it is. They're blocked off to it. They're asleep to it. Double clarification of the moon representing confusion and insanity. If you come out and actually write a detailed thing, if you come out and actually have a presentation, a real presentation, people will understand this. Yeah, the Popus. The High Priestess. It's kind of like right here. Say, for example, how can I say it? When they do a fashion show, they don't just show off 1 to 2 pieces of clothing. No, it's like a sequence of events, right? And that's kind of what this is. It's a show. So you want to present something. You think it's good. And it very well might be, but people don't know what the hell you're talking about or what you're trying to convey to them. They're like, it's pretty. It's nice. Sure. But if you had more of this King of Swords energy, just like very sharp devil commitment right here. And when I say devil commitment, it's like, for example, a lot of artists way back when, right? Even in the tarot decks, they put in a lot of mystery behind the symbolism, right? So obviously when you buy a tarot deck, it has an instruction manual behind it. And it tells you about each one of the symbols. If it didn't do that, most people would just think it's a symbol. Okay. However, if it has that detailed explanation behind it, people are like, oh wow, I can correlate these two things together. You're using your High Priestess knowledge of something and bringing it down and spelling it out for a group of people who don't understand your work. The Empress. Hold on. With the Empress right here, this represents, fertility and abundance. People do not understand your lifestyle, pretty much. Who you are, what you're doing, where it's all going, what it all means. Who are you, Leo? Like, that's the situation. People don't really know who you are. Maybe you're very vague about who you are. And, you know, as a Leo, I can kind of do that. When people ask me what I'm up to, I'm like, stuff. And they're like, oh, what kind of stuff? Things. Like, I don't want to fucking explain it to them because, like, who cares? Like, ultimately, who cares? And I kind of feel like that's that nonchalant Leo energy that people don't like. Is it's like, you're just very vague about certain things. You don't have to be. Leos can be very blunt and in your face and tell you, like, this is what it is. However, most of the time you don't care because you don't think other people care. Why would people care that much? That's very King of Wands energy. Well, who cares that much? Just do it. Like, do what makes you happy. Don't hurt other people. Like, just enjoy your life. But when people want to know who you are, you kind of have to explain that to them. And I kind of feel like it's a lot of people thinking, you know, oversharing is cringe, right? And that's what this is for you, I believe. The Four of Swords is kind of representation of also cringing. You don't want to overshare a scenario because maybe you're around a lot of people who are kind of like drama queens and always just talk about themselves. And that's it. Maybe you don't want to share the deep, dark secrets about who you are, what's going on in your life, whatever. However, people don't know, and they just, you know, you're a mystery, or this situation or whatever you're doing, it's mysterious. Like, they don't get it. The Queen of Swords. Yeah. Piercing through the veil and explaining to people this is what it is. That's it. You don't, and here's the thing. In a way, it kind of is representation of Jonah energy. I don't really feel like you want to do this right here, but you're kind of being forced to do this, all right? And when I say being forced, you do have free will. However, the universe is guiding you and pushing you because you think people are just dumb. You think people are just, you know, maybe you think people don't care about you. Maybe you think a lot of things, right? About how people view you. Doesn't really matter to you. Whatever, right? However, this is the only way to really break the illusion, is to just explain what you do, what your work is, what your hobbies are. The Knight of Cups, yeah, you presenting the situation to the King of Pentacles. People are very receptive of it. People are receptive of you. Okay? Because I know a lot of people stereotype Leos as people talk a lot, whatever, they overshare, they talk about themselves constantly. But have you ever noticed that Leos really just talk about extremely superficial shit? Like, they don't really get into a matter. Even with their close friends, they'll have to know their friends for like 5 years before they really get in depth with them. It's just like, here's a point about me, here's a point, right? The King of Pentacles right here is Taurus energy, Venusian energy. It can also represent like a large group of people, presenting this to a large group of people. The Seven of Cups. Fantasy, presenting this story or this art or whatever it is, whatever is in your cup right here, it's kind of like an illusion. It could be a story. It could be a book. It could be your art, your whatever you do. Maybe you play an instrument. And it's you finally showing off and showcasing, hey, this is what I do. You have the Magician coming out. But here's the thing about it. People like it. People are actually receptive with the Magician energy. Because a Magician represents someone who's actually really good at what they do. It represents kind of like a master of their skill. The Magician can also be represented as like the Magi's in the Bible. The Magi who, you know, went and found Jesus. And they presented him with the gifts. They were astrologers. They were very well-learned, well-educated people. Maybe people like this as... they view it from a higher perspective, like the Magician. Because remember, he's a master of all things. We can never truly master the Magician energy, but we can attain some sort of mastery behind something, whatever you're trying to do. The Knight of Batons with the King of Batons. It rushes you very quickly into this king-like energy where you're no longer, you know, feeling kind of shut off. One more card. Two of Cups. Where people can connect with you. I feel like maybe you're a little bit not unattainable. I'm not going to say that, but like people don't know how to connect with you, which is fine. But if you want to connect with other people, or if you're wondering why you're so lonely, but you never give people the opportunity to connect with you, then you kind of have to like meet them halfway sometimes, right? But you might think, well, no one really wants to, but I kind of feel like people in a way do. Yeah, the Queen of Wands. People want to match the energy with this Queen of Wands right here matching this King of Wands. People would like to match your energy. People would like to have this communication with you. Because remember, the Two of Cups represents a loving connection. People would like to have this emotional situation to you in your life. However, you're just very vague about how you're doing things in the month of August. You're not telling people what you want. You're not explaining things. You're just, happy birthday to me, yay, I like cake, I like, you know, fancy things, but who are you? What are your hobbies? What do you do? And if you're working on something, write it out in a very, very detailed situation. If you're in, like, about to start school again, or if you are working on something, write out what you mean, all right? Kind of like, you know how when there's a movie, you can go to the settings and you can listen to what the director's thoughts were behind the movie. Like, he'll narrate it for you. He'll do like the director's cut and he'll talk throughout the movie for you. Kind of like do that, but in a book style. Because there are also authors who will do that, where you can read a book, and even the Bible has it. It's called a concordance, where you can look at the Bible, but also read what it actually means over here, or what the author was trying to, you know, say. And so I kind of feel like you're writing that like a concordance to something. So that way people can actually grasp the concept. Because I kind of feel like you want it to be mysterious, but it's too occultic in a way with the moon. It's too out there. All right? Maybe you have decided to, for example, you designed a dress, let's just say that, and the top half was black and the bottom half was white. And then maybe you had like a little pocket that was checker printed, and then another pocket that was checker printed over here, and then maybe you put you know, like frilly Medusa head jewelry on it. Like you're putting all these occultic symbols on this dress, but what does it mean? How does it all tie together? When people see it, they're astounded. They're like, wow, that's really pretty, but I don't fucking understand it, right? Yeah, the Temperance. They see the alchemy behind a situation, but they don't understand how it was done, okay? Or why it was done. The Chariot. And the Ace of Pentacles. Moving quickly into this Ace of Pentacles right here, I feel like when people understand it, when they actually grasp the concept, here's the thing though, you know, artists or writers or people of that nature, they expect other people in certain communities and certain, you know, like people maybe say that they dabble in the occult, whatever, they read a bunch of books, they read the hidden mysteries. Very few people actually understand what they're reading. Actually, very few people just say that stuff for a bunch of bravado. They say, oh, I'm very enlightened, and then they're fucking like just completely in the dark about certain situations. So maybe you're presenting this in a very showcase form, and they're like, wow, that's nice. But with the information, with the proper work behind it, it actually moves very quickly as a victory to this Ace of Pentacles, because now it's not hidden in the dark. The Two of Wands, or the Two of Pentacles, that means that's the balance. The Eight of Swords with the Fool. You're having to free people's minds right here. You're going to have to kind of, in a way, view people as stupid, all right? And I hate to say that, but you're going to have to view these people as dumb, whatever you're doing right here, all right? Like, let's just be real. That's why I don't like, when I do these readings right here, when I do the grand occult readings, it's better to watch them when you're alone, okay? Because you don't want to feel like your friends are being called out or your family members. Like, these kind of readings are just something that's like kind of a little bit taboo, right? You have to view these people as though they're stupid, as though they are foolish people, completely oblivious to a situation, and their minds are completely, like, chained down, okay? You have to free them from the situation, whatever this is. Whatever you are doing right here, you don't want to do it. You wish it would be over. Yeah, the Two of Wands. You're just like, I'm moving on to something else, but with this Death and this Eight of Pentacles, like, you want to move something out on, but then you realize that these people don't understand what it is. It's kind of like, you know, the story of Jonah. Jonah didn't want to go to Nineveh, but he finally had to go there, and he preached to them, and he thought that they should already know these things. They're like, you know, these people were really depraved people. They were like into child sacrifice, drinking blood. Like, you know, normal logical thinking people would not do that. However, that was Jonah's thought process. He's like, well, why would God want me to come here? Like, that's just a normal thought process. Like, you shouldn't do those things. But granted, these people truly did not know. All right? That's why God sent him there. And you might think, well, why would God send a prophet there? Because these people were able to be redeemed and able to turn away because they didn't know God. They didn't know the concept of morality. All right, and that's what you have to understand. Sometimes people do not understand the concept of morality, and therefore God gives them a chance to understand the concept of morality or the universe or the angels. And you're just thinking, shouldn't you know this though? But they don't. And then at the end, Jonah was sitting on the hill wanting God to destroy Nineveh, but God didn't, because they truly did not have a clue as to what the normal view of morality was. They were supposed to be like almost as wicked as Sodom and Gomorrah. But they were still able to be saved. The difference between Sodom and Gomorrah is that they knew. So that's what this is right here, Leo. The Queen of Cups. You presenting this to people, all right? You have to think logically. You have to come from a place of love when you do this, all right? You can't come from a place of hate. You have to come from a more nurturing perspective and understand that after people change, even after they're finally free, you can't expect, you know, gloom and doom and despair to happen to these people, all right? You can't at the end think like they should know these things. Sometimes people don't. I was so shocked when I found out, you know, when I had to live in the barracks, how many people just did not know how to do laundry. They just didn't know. They would put their clothes in the laundry machine, and they didn't know how to operate the dials. They didn't know how to turn on the machine. I was just like, what do you mean you don't know how to operate the laundry? Like, or how to iron your clothes. Like, some people just don't have the concept behind it and come from a place of teaching, okay? Explain it to them. Let them be free. Let them have a new situation within their life, all right? The Four of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords. You kind of have to have like this, I'll give you the information to save you from the Ten of Swords kind of thing. You know, Jonah actually begrudgingly preached to them, right? He didn't come from a place of love. That was the thing behind the situation. When he finally had to go there, he basically said, yeah, God said don't do this. You're all going to go to hell if you don't do it. And then they were all shocked. They're like, oh, wait, what? And Jonah left the city. He didn't want to talk to anyone. He just left. He was like, I'm done with these people. However, had he come from a more loving place, you know, they actually were very sorrowful for what they had done, right? That was the whole point of that story, is that these people were actually very sorrowful. Like, they ended up, like, cloaking themselves in sackcloth and sitting in ash. That's how, you know, repentful they were for what they had done. Sorry, this is not the Ten of Swords, this is the Nine of Swords. You freeing them from this thought process, from the 8 to the 9. So freeing them from the mental imprisonment of anxiety, freeing them from this, basically death situation, this mental death. So you finally handing over this Four of Pentacles, by you finally balancing out the situation. You have the Four of Pentacles and you hand people 2 of them, but don't be sad about handing people 2. In fact, don't even feel nervous about doing so. It's not for you to feel nervous. If God gave you 4 Pentacles and he says, hey, give those 2 people 2 over there, hand them off. Don't do it begrudgingly. Be happy about the situation. Especially with these 2 moons coming out, that does represent equality between the moons, the 2 Pentacles. Don't be nervous about where your other 2 Pentacles are going to come from. Just give it away. Whatever this is, just let people see this thing, explain it in depth to them, be happy that people can understand it and move on. Don't just, give it to them, run away and say, fuck you, you're stupid, you're never going to figure it out, I hope you all, get destroyed. Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. Because at the end, you do receive a new beginning, and you do receive a cup that was previously blocked off to you, okay? When you see things from a more logical, more motherly perspective, Leo, okay, here's the thing. People say Leo is the divine child, and in a way, it can be, okay? It could be the child represented by sitting on the white horse in the card, the sun. However, Leo is actually represented by, Leo is actually represented by the sun itself, right? So when we talk about being represented by the sun itself, it kind of represents like being that stable, God-like energy in the universe or in our solar system. So you're really hoping right here that after you're done with this thing, you just throw it at these people, say bye, and the universe is saying, don't do that. Write out actually what you mean, what the thought process was behind it. Come from a place of love, give it to the people, smile, be happy that these people are not in the dark, be happy that these people can actually see who you are, what you're doing, whatever else is going on within your life. And then the universe unlocks these 2 things that had been previously blocked off to you, okay? Maybe in a way, by you acting this way all the time, by acting begrudging towards people, you kind of block off your own blessings. The Strength card. This is your energy. It represents Hercules slaying Leo the lion. First trial, right? What you have is very solid work. The angels are protecting you. The angels are protecting your whatever you're doing right here. The problem behind it is that you don't want to come from an emotional perspective place, which I completely understand. You don't want to be an emotional person all the time. You're not a water sign. You expect people to just kind of just understand things because you study, you do your own work, you understand other things. Sometimes people cannot understand what you're trying to get across to them. Yeah, the Ten of Wands. Or is it the Ten of Wands? Hold on. Nine of Wands. You can be very harsh with your words. That's one of the main problems with you, Leo, is that you can be very harsh with people. When people don't understand a concept, you just kind of tell them like it is. But the universe is saying, stop doing that. Come from a more emotional perspective. All right? Don't leave these people feeling bruised and battered at the end, calling them stupid, calling them ignorant, calling them whatever, even though they very well might be, if they're foolish people. The Six of Swords. You're not going to be around them forever. That's the thing, Leo. Here's the thing. I know most Leo people don't really like people, all right? Most Leos, when they say, oh, Leos are some of the most outgoing, you know, whatever people in the world, Leos love everyone. No, they don't. That's very false. Leos generally get along with a few people, but they prefer to be by themselves, doing their own thing. Now, they can care for people and they do like to have fun. However, it's to advance something. There's always that ulterior motive behind it, okay? That's what people don't quite understand. And I kind of feel like you understand that yourself. There's always an ulterior motive. And your ulterior motive, Leo, is generally that you want to get money, you want to have nice things, and you don't want to talk to people. You kind of want to just recluse yourself and do your own things. You might want to have a lover. I'm not saying that you're never going to have love and you're just going to be, you know, this whatever person, but you don't really want to be bothered with people. You really want to have all the nice things, the nice luxury. Pay attention to yourself, pay attention to your lover, pay attention to the things you love to focus on. You don't care about what happens out in the world. That's the whole point. But this is critical in order for you to attain that lifestyle of just moving away from people, mentally moving on, to have these nice things, to not really have to care about other people anymore. You have to come from a place of love this one time in August. The Five of Pentacles with the Hanged Man. See it from a higher perspective, okay? You have to see things from a self-sacrifice perspective. Even if it means having your pentacles and giving it to the other people right here. They need to know, or they need to have these two pentacles more than you do. Because once you do that, once you learn the concept of sharing, once you learn the concept of caring, once you learn the concept of, sometimes you just have to spell it out, things change for you. Ace of Swords. Because I kind of feel like you're going to have to do it again within your life. Maybe this is something that's always going to be a recurring theme for you. And so you might as well learn how to do it. So let's look at your spellcasting oracle cards. If this camera dies, it's only got 5%. I should have charged it, but I thought I had more energy in it. You have reconciliation and truth. You're going to receive some sort of truth. You're going to have a reconciling between people. People are going to see your truth. People are going to understand who you are, what this work is, or you're going to connect with people maybe you've broken off from and give them the truth about something. But do it from a place of compassion. You have unseen because they don't know, and unalone. Just because you've always had your spiritual guides, your ancestors, whatever around you, just because you've had these spiritual forces helping you, guiding you, telling you what to do, what to create, how to do it, and, you know, make something beautiful, doesn't mean that other people do, okay? Just because you have everything going on, and because you understand the secrets to life, because you have the cheat codes to life or something, doesn't mean other people do. Some people just do not understand the concept of making money. Some people do not understand the concept of having a business mindset. Some people don't understand the concept of, you know, a one-night stand. People, but you do. You understand the world. You understand the world, but you don't really want to be a part of it, if that makes sense. You understand all the worldly knowledge out there, but you don't really want to be involved. And when people ask you about the worldly knowledge, you're just like, yeah, sure, it's like this. And then they want more about that. They want more in-depth knowledge about how the world functions in itself. Trick or treat, mischief and play. Skull of flowers creating through the ashes. Peacocks screaming outside. So with this trick or treat, mischief and play, what I'm seeing for you is just try to be happy within this. All right? Oh gosh, cards are falling everywhere. I'm going to take this one. I'll get you another one. Try to be happy. Skull of flowers, creating through the ashes. You're creating something new. You're creating this, you know, Eight of Pentacles, something that you may have not wanted to go back to, but work through it. You know, it's dusty, it's old. You're like, gosh, I don't really want to look at this again. But if you go back, figure it out, help other people understand it, I think they'll be more happy for you. You have spider deception and crow sovereignty. So what I'm seeing for you is that you have this sovereign energy about you. Like you have this pinnacle. Like people kind of respect you. But people don't know with this deception energy because you always have like that weird, tricky, you know, elusive kind of thing going on. Even for people who are very outgoing, you have to understand, if you're a very outgoing Leo and you're in your face, people don't trust you. Like, people always say that you have an ulterior motive, and granted you do. Sometimes people just fall all over you and they love you to pieces and whatnot, but, I mean, you're fooling them, you're not fooling me, right? Maybe you're one of those people who's always outgoing and then you finally want to say, hey, I have clinical depression or whatever. And people are like, oh, wow. You know, and people finally understand who you are as a person. But maybe you just always don't want to talk about that. Maybe you just want to, like, you know, keep that to yourself or whatever you're working on. You have need, self-restraint, disappointment, avoidance of greed, patience, and simplification. Giving that Two of Pentacles away. Spiritual meaning, asceticism, transcendence in the soul. You're transcending into a new situation, okay? Just like Jonah had to go to Nineveh, he didn't get anything out of it. That was the thing. His whole goal was to go there to make sure that they didn't die. He didn't get anything out of that. That's kind of why he was like waiting for the destruction. He's like, oh great, I get to watch them all burn. Yay. My journey will be worthwhile. And then nothing happened. He's like, really? That's it? And that's how the book of Jonah ends. It's just like the end. He sits there under a dead olive tree, I believe. Pretty sure it was an olive branch, whatever. And says, open your mind, connect with the higher power, broaden your horizons, and invoke wisdom. So let's look at that. This invoke wisdom energy. Let me get you just 3 cards. King of Swords, Page of Cups, Death. Okay. You speaking from a place of authority to the page, so that way this situation can come to an ending, okay? Because they want their cup filled up, but they don't understand what's inside of it. You telling them what's inside of it is death, all right? You telling them the dangers of sometimes when you just hand out your cup of love to other people, how easy it is for people to slip in poisons, all right? That's what this is. You're very truthful about worldly situations. Like, for example, people are very trusting when they go to bars, right? People will just, like, leave their cup on the counter and go to the bathroom, and someone will just slip something in it. Like, you would think, why wouldn't you know that? Or, you know, but sometimes people are just oblivious to those situations. You're enlightening people to an oblivious situation where they're looking at this fish in their cup and they're thinking, oh, that's cute. I just want to get my cup filled up by whoever. But it's death, all right? That's the ending behind the situation for you. Or for at least the page, anyway. Yeah, the victory. You giving them the victory over the situation. By you explaining the moonlight. By you moving them forward, by you saying, gosh, you should understand this, but you're coming from the king-like authority to this page. Treat them as a page. Don't demean them, all right? Don't be like Jonah. Just be from a place of love, but firm authoritarianism, I don't know. Firm authority. Teach them, you know, hey, there's death in this cup. You have to be an adult. You have to think about these things. You cannot think like a child. That's the victory. Teaching them basically street smarts, or teaching them about whatever you're doing right here. So anyway, Leo, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll talk to you later.